Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to another episode of New Muslim Guide, where we are talking about the guide for the new Muslims. We're sharing with you elements of what the new Muslim should follow in terms of knowledge, what he needs to know, the details, the information, instructions as to which way he should take. Many new Muslims, when they come to Islam, they end up being misguided or deviated because nobody's there for them. Nobody's there to help them, to guide them, to show them the way. And that's why we are here. We're here for you, inshallah. This series, this program is good for you. It will be beneficial for you and for all Muslims all around the world and for the non-Muslims as well. We have with us in the studio today Brother Sam, and we will be talking about your dress code, clothing from an Islamic perspective. This is a topic that really needs to be talked about because many people don't know the do's and don'ts of dressing in Islam, and inshallah we will touch base on the important points with evidences from the Quran and from the Hadith. The Hadith means sayings from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. As I said, we have with us Brother Sam in the studio. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, Brother Sam?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on your program.
You're welcome. May Allah bless you. Now, we know that clothing is an important role of the human being, you know. You wake up in the morning, first thing you do, or one of the first things you do is change your clothes, right? Have your shower, then you put on different clothes than the clothes you were wearing. You leave your house, you're dressed up. You go to work, you have your clothes on. You take a holiday, you're with your friends, you have clothes on. Even when you swim in the pool or in the beach, you are dressed up. You know, you have some type of clothes on. So we know that clothing is very important in the human's life, right? What are your comments on this?
Well, I think we need to be reverent in the way we dress before God. Even when we come to the mosque, the masjid, that we're dressed appropriately before God. There are ways to please God in the way we conduct our lives, our behavior, our dress. It's important. Dress should not be sexually provocative. Today we live in a world where wrong seems right. We live in an age where everybody wants to do their own thing. But there are consequences to being so free. It's a breakdown in morality within society today. And it has consequences on ourselves, on our families, and on society as a whole. So we want to avoid the consequences.
Yes.
We want to please God in the way we behave. We want Him to bless us. We want Him to reward us, to encourage us. We want to seek God's direction in the way we dress.
You mentioned a very important point. You said when you go to the mosque, you should dress appropriately. You probably didn't know that this verse is mentioned in the glorious Quran. Allah told us, O children of Adam, wear your best clothes to every mosque. Did you know that?
I've read that, yes.
Okay, so Allah told us to wear our best clothes when we enter the mosque. And we know that the purpose of clothing is for different reasons. What comes to your mind? Why should one clothe?
I like to wear nice clothes. I like to wear clothing that is, what we say, considered reverent before God, that's not provocative, that doesn't seek to attract other people, but is nice and clean, and that's relevant to society today. There are certain things that are fashionable, that's okay. There are certain things that are fashionable that are not okay. What do you think?
I think that one of the purposes we should wear our clothes, or wear clothes in general, is to cover our body parts.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be seeing certain parts of the body. And one of the main reasons we do wear these clothes is to cover them up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, Ya bani Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم. O children of Adam, we have sent down clothing to you to conceal your private parts. So that's the main purpose Allah is telling us. He sent down clothing to us, which is a bounty, it's a blessing. You were saying to be blessed from the Almighty Allah. This is a blessing for one to conceal his private parts when he goes out. And this is, it's not something inhumane, you know, or something strange for one to conceal his private parts. People from different religions know that, you know, this is something mandatory, that, you know, some parts of the body must be concealed, right? You were a former Christian and you probably embraced that belief.
Yes, but you know, we also know that we live in an age where wrong seems right and where people want to intentionally be sexually provocative by uncovering their bodies in such a way to attract others to them sexually. And this is forbidden by God because there are consequences to that kind of behavior.
Yes, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, eat, drink, dress, and give charity, but without extravagance. This is in a hadith narrated by An-Nisa'i 2559, authentic hadith. Prophet Muhammad said, eat, drink, give charity, dress, but without extravagance. What could we extract from that hadith?
I don't think we should be wasteful in anything we do or to seek to live in an extravagant way. Extravagance itself can lead to overindulgence and sin.
Yeah, and it's sad that we see that some people, you know, go out shopping, go into the mall, buying clothes that, you know, they don't need. You see him like going to Nike, buying pants for sports. Well, he already has like 20 pairs of pants at home.
You know, the problem today is credit cards. You know, it's so easy to spend money we don't have and to go out. This debt that we're building up by living extravagantly is causing many problems in families and even causes divorce.
Yes. And this is something that's being widely spread. We see it, you know, amongst couples. Big fights, arguments happen, and divorce rates are increasing due to this, you know, due to extravagance. People are wasting, buying things they don't need. Islam prohibits this. Islam tells you, do buy things, you know, go out and buy some clothes, go shopping, but without extravagance.
In the West, we have a simple living movement which tells people, live simply, out of debt, debt-free, and don't follow the ways of the world. This is coming from non-believers. So I think the simple living movement is something that we can all seek to emanate. Smaller houses, not extravagant cars, not extravagant clothes, and to live simply yet comfortably in this world, knowing that this is all temporary. The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. That is why in paradise we're promised garments made of silk that smells like musk. I mean, who could imagine that? Imagine owning a garment that's made out of silk and it smells like musk, and you get to abide in paradise forever, for eternity. And you have garments and palaces, but on certain conditions. Be straight with Allah, be steadfast, dress appropriately, don't be extravagant, be moderate, have that belief, that firm belief until you die.
Young people today, young Muslims, you need to understand all of this is temporary. The best is yet to come.
May Allah provide us with proper understanding, comprehension, and allow us to act and apply what we learn. Many of us hear things, and the moment we hear it, we choose not to accept it. The most important thing in Islam is that when you gain the knowledge, you gain the benefit, apply it to yourself, then share it with others. This is what Islam is about, right? Learning something new and applying it to yourself, then sharing it with others. So this is a message that is very good for the new Muslims. Let's talk about forbidden clothing. We know that, clothing is good for us. Generally speaking, clothing is good for us. It's a blessing from Allah. Allah told us in the glorious Quran in 2 verses. One verse, He said, wear your best when you go to every masjid. And He says that we sent down clothing to you to reveal your private parts. So we know that, clothing is spoken about in a positive way in the glorious Quran. The Prophet Muhammad told us, peace and blessings be upon him, eat, drink, give charity, dress, but without extravagance. Also another positive quote by the Prophet Muhammad about clothing. So we know that clothing is appropriate, it's good for us, but there are certain types of clothes that we should avoid, forbidden clothing. What comes to your mind when I say forbidden clothing?
I would think clothing that is, as we mentioned earlier, sexually provocative.
Let's first analyze this. You're right, what you said is good. Let's analyze what forbidden is in terms of clothing. Now, a man has a awrah different than the woman's awrah. Awrah means private area that nobody is allowed to see. The man's private area is from his navel up until his knees, to the bottom knee. Not the upper knee, but the bottom knee. Those are his private areas. Anything in between that, nobody should see except for the wife, the spouse. Other than that, nobody should see it. The woman, on the other hand, the woman must cover everything except for the hands and face. These are not awrah. These are not private parts. They're not considered private parts. When she prays, when the woman prays, her hands are revealed and her face is revealed, correct? When she goes for umrah, performs hajj, her hands and her face should be revealed. So that is for strange men. But with the spouse or with her children, it's a different case. She could wear something else. She doesn't have to wear hijab when she's sitting with her husband or with her child or her brother or her father. She has to conceal some private parts, but she could reveal others that she doesn't reveal to men. So if a man were to swim in swimming shorts up to half of his thigh, that is impermissible. That's forbidden clothing in Islam. If a woman were to wear tight pants and a shirt and only hijab when she walks out, that's impermissible because of it revealing some parts of the body. You have a comment?
No, I think I'm agreeing with you.
Alhamdulillah. And it's always good that it's that way.
Yeah.
And we know that, from the previous times, even with other cultures and other religions, you used to see people, women dressing more appropriate, They used to cover parts of their hair. They used to wear long clothing. I mean, compare 2016 back to 1920 or 1910.
Yeah.
Right?
Even the men wear long bathing suits.
The men would wear, and they're not even Muslims, but they used to have this modesty, right? And by time we see that people are, getting naked more and more every decade or every year or every, generation that passes. We see that people are starting to reveal more of their private parts. So another part of the forbidden clothing is clothing that involves dressing like or imitating the opposite sex. That is to say, Brother Sam wears a dress.
Yeah.
That's forbidden. That is to say that a sister dresses up in a tuxedo like a man's tuxedo. That is forbidden. That is to say that a sister wears a thobe and a shimagh, the shimagh. That is to say that a sister wears that and, dresses like a man.
Yeah.
That's forbidden because she is imitating the opposite sex, the opposite gender. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Cursed be the man who wears women's clothes and women who wear men's clothes." That is by Abu Dawood, 4098. Authentic quote by the Prophet Muhammad. cursed be the man who wears women's clothes, and cursed be the woman who wears men's clothes. Did you ever know this information?
I haven't heard that quote before, but certainly it's something we need to heed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really doesn't make sense that a woman dresses like a man or a man dresses like a woman. It's, it's against human nature. Let's talk more about this after the break,
But we
inshallah.
live in an age of existentialism. We'll talk.
Yeah, after the break, inshallah. We're going to take a break. Don't you go anywhere. This is a hot topic, your dress code. Thank you.
There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his message.